The bill is going to greenlight demolition of historic properties in coastal areas and also not allow any design reviews for the buildings that go back.
Jenny Wolf, former historic preservation officer for St. Augustine, is reacting to a bill that passed in the state Senate that she believes could lead to the demolition of historic structures.
If you have a historic Main Street community that's been in existence for many years and thriving, you could have one developer come in there and ruin the character of that Main Street by demolishing a historic building and building something back that doesn't fit. It's just incremental degradation of the state's historic coastal communities.
Wolf adds home rule is also at risk.
There is an amendment that makes it really difficult and not user-friendly for property owners and local governments to interpret. And if the state is making these preemptive laws, but not making them clear to users on how to apply them, you're going to have communities interpreting them different ways and opening, more challenge than necessary for lawsuits. Pretty poorly written bill. It's vague. It's going to face a lot of different ways to interpret it, and that's not doing a service to local governments.
The bill now heads to the State House for a vote. Tomorrow on St. Augustine's Local Morning News, we'll get State Rep Cindy Stevenson's take on the bill. This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. Dredging is underway on Salt Run Channel.
The city's grant administration coordinator, Eric Walter, says the project began on Monday.
Every year, the tides change, bringing more sediment into that area. And there's a lot of locals here and fishermen that get stuck. So we have to make sure that they have a safe access. So every year we try to propose this project to make sure that there's a safe waterway that they can pass through and no one gets stuck even on a low tide.
The work will take about a month to complete.
The dredging should start at the St. Augustine Lighthouse boat ramp and continue to the Conch House Marina. That is the funding that we have for the cubic yards, and hopefully in the future we will be dredging further north to get all the way through up to the inlet.
Boaters should be mindful of the work being done.
There is going to be barges out there. There will be work. There will be some activity out there, but you should be able to navigate the waterways. But just make sure that you know that there is going to be some congestion in that area.
The project is paid for by grants from the Florida Inland Navigation District and St. Augustine Port, Waterway, and Beach District. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
It's a lot of money that the other side knows they can't replace. But nevertheless, they move forward trying to push us off the landscape.
That's Todd Atkins of the Sportsman Alliance reacting to Friday's vote to adopt an amendment to the Florida Constitution to preserve hunting and fishing as a public right. Liz Ryan reports.
Todd makes a financial argument for adding this to the Constitution.
Hunters and anglers, through the license fees, the excise taxes on firearms, ammunition, motorboat fuel, etc., that amounts to just about everything that's good in wildlife conservation. So in a state like Florida, right, where you can't come around any corner without seeing somebody with a fishing pole in their hand, you know what I'm saying? It's like every bridge, and billions of dollars over time have been contributed by these folks. So I say absolutely it should be in the Constitution.
I spoke to Adam Morley, owner of Denung's Fish Camp and president of the Flagler Sport Fishing Club. His take isn't quite what you might expect.
They may be changing some words around, adding in perpetuity, but it's already in our state's constitution. They're just doing it for the PR, and I'm not a fan of how they're going about it. There are better things like the right to clean water, which they are trying to push to the side. Where this actually came from was from a single individual who had an issue and also had connections to the legislature, and that's why it's being put on the ballot by the legislature rather than by the public themselves. The politics behind this amendment is dirty.
The measure will be on next year's ballot. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.